Tell you what, maybe we get tape of Coach Dan. Just play that tape back, and you and I can go ahead and leave and go home. Probably. You did such a good job, Laura. Nice to see you.
Nice to meet you.
Congratulations on the victory too.
Thank you.
And what got you interested in volleyball?
Well, it was the summer before 6th grade. I got a pamphlet from Caldwell that said, "Would you like to do any summer camps?" And I was like, "Oh, volleyball sounds really cool." So I went to the summer camp and I tried out for the team that fall. Didn't make the team, so then I went and played at the Y for a season. The coach told me to get some more experience. Came back in 7th grade, made the team, and have been playing ever since.
And you never had played before the 6th grade when you came in there?
No, sir.
And you got cut, or I don't say you got cut, you didn't make the team the first time through then?
Yeah.
Wow, dedication, stuck with it. Were there any thoughts about not going back, or were you pretty much determined you're going to get back in there?
I was pretty determined to get a second shot at being on the team. I thought that I could be on the team if I worked harder.
Where did you go, like you said, between time to start playing the game? When you didn't make it into 6th grade, you worked out where now?
I played at the Y.
Played at the Y. Was that Spears Y?
Yes, sir.
Did they have organized teams there too? Wow. So you let the Spears Y drive you right into the Caldwell Academy team?
Yes, sir.
What makes you love the sport? How do you just fall in love with the sport?
I love the team aspect of the sport and having a bunch of different girls to be able to celebrate the victories with. I also play beach. I have in the past, and indoor and beach are completely different. I love beach and how it's just you and that other person. So it really feels like a personal victory, but in indoor, it's a whole team effort, and everybody has their own distinct parts.
And when you play the beach, there's a lot more of hitting the ground, I guess, there, right? Which is not the floor, but the sand. You're probably going down on the sand quite a bit more than you go down on the court indoor, maybe?
Yes, sir. I do. Got some pretty nice bruises on my knees, elbows.
Do you get padded up for the beach, too? Wear pads for that?
Nope.
No pads?
Sand is really soft, surprisingly, so it's a really hard adjustment going from the sand to indoor because the hard court isn't as forgiving.
And you got the knee pads and elbow pads for the volleyball indoor?
Yes, sir.
Looked up pretty good. Good deal. Does winning the state title make all that work you did a little bit sweeter just to get that state championship?
Oh, definitely. Ever since the beginning, I can see how every year we've been growing. The first year I played on the team as a freshman, I honestly didn't want to come back the next year. Like, we weren't very good. I was like, we're not going to go anywhere. I'm not a very good player. But my dad told me that in a few years that we would be state champions. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever you say, Dad. And sure enough, here we are.
When I heard your name today, I said, this girl's got to be some relation to Dr. Jerry Buss, maybe with the LA Lakers team owner and team family, possibly the Buss family out of California. No?
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, check that out. When you hear the Buss team, you think about the LA Lakers, their strong basketball sports background. Talk about all the hard work you did along the way, because you probably never let up much. Do you play other sports, by the way, too?
No, I just play volleyball. Actually, I did play soccer for a year in 7th grade.
What was that experience like?
Oh, it was great. It was so much fun. I actually might play soccer this year.
So this spring season coming up, so that might surprise me too, probably.
It'll be very interesting. The other senior that plays volleyball with me, she is really involved in soccer. That's like her main sport. And so she's been trying to get me to play soccer every year, and I'm not playing beach this year as a club sport. So I don't know. You never know.
What position would you play in soccer?
Probably defender. Maybe goalie.
Be the goalie. Do they have a regular goalie now? You have to.
I think they do. I'm not sure.
You have to replace her or take that spot. Yeah.
Knock
What about the college ranks? Are you looking toward that already?
No, sir. I am not planning on playing in college. If I do, it would be on a club team.
So you're done with volleyball as far as the competitive form goes from high school going to college. No more volleyball for you there then?
Yeah. Well, playing for a club team would still offer some like competitive, just not as time
detailed.
Yeah.
The scheduling
was playing for the school.
Where do you go to college at?
I've applied to UNC Charlotte and Appalachian and NC State.
And any favorites among those?
NC State definitely is my top choice.
What would you study when you went there, probably?
They actually have an exploratory studies major because I'm not exactly sure what I want to go into. So basically in that major you get to look at a bunch of different careers, still take the general classes, and then the next year you go into the major.
Give you a little time to make your mind up what you want to do. Toughest game you had this season, probably? Any?
Toughest game would be our first match in the state playoffs. We got killed the first set. Second set, lost again. I was like, well, this is the end of my season right here. This is how I go out.
So you were feeling it right there. It was gone.
Yeah, and then in the third set we were down, and that's when Coach Bo got that yellow card. And then
He really got a yellow card?
he really got a yellow card.
I'm thinking about soccer getting a yellow card, but volleyball too, huh?
Yep, he got a yellow card. And I think that was what changed the momentum. And
Kind of wake-up call then. Everybody woke up?
And then in the fifth set, which is only to 15, we were ahead by a few points the whole match, but then we were down 11-9, and that was really crunch time. But we came back and won, and that was probably one of the sweetest victories aside from the state championship, was being able to get through that match.
And by the time you got to Davidson Day, you'd already been there and done a lot of the hard stuff, and you just took care of business there then.
Yeah, definitely a lot of our energy was spent in the first day because we played 9 sets. Normally we'll play about 9 sets a week. So because we'll have, so it was very taxing.
Here's the old question, too, the old psychologist would ask, did you rest well the night before that championship? You played 9 sets that day, all that action you had that day, probably pretty well worn out, but then you had a championship game the next day. Did you rest well the night before?
As soon as I was in bed, I was out.
You were gone.
Yeah, and the other girls, we roomed with our different teammates, and they were out too. I mean, it was instantly.
What's it like in the importance of being a leader on this team, and were you able to lead these young ladies, being the senior statesman, so to speak, in some ways?
I think so, especially being the only senior playing. I really got to know the girls and really help them and watch them develop over the season.
Did you have to lay the law down any time? We need to get our act together and get this going the right way?
We were pretty strict on when we wore gray shirts to practice and being late practice. If you were late to practice or if you didn't have your gray shirt, normally we'd make the girls run.
And that was the players actually made them run. The coach did too as well, or just the players?
He left that up to us
okay.
mostly to enforce that. And so while the other senior didn't play, Haley Belk, she really was a leader. The girls really, my son could respect her because she sees the court really well. They have a great respect for her.
What was your biggest strength? Go back and tell us your biggest strength in this sport, in volleyball. What's your biggest strength in this game?
Probably my setting. So I'm a setter. I have been since 7th grade. That's what I have trained to be. So.
Ever get any jam fingers in doing this?
No.
Not pretty safe there as far as it goes? Set it all up? Now, do you have another favorite sport? You mentioned soccer. Maybe your favorite sport outside of volleyball, possibly?
Not really. Volleyball is pretty much it. Not really into basketball or football that much.
What do you do for hobbies? Now you've got a bunch of time on your hands, a little spare time now. Are you watching videos from the state championship game? Or
yeah, most of the time during lunch I'm in Coach Bo's office bothering him and watching old videos. So it's really nice. Last year, the videos we had to watch were us losing the state finals, but this year we get to watch us winning. So that's really just accomplishing to be able to.
What was it like? It was an accomplishment, I guess. You won the title, but also you beat those public schools this year. You beat Page and you knocked off Northeast and Southwest. Or was that a good step in the right direction there?
That was awesome. Just telling by walking in, they didn't respect us. They this is just a little private school coming in, trying to get out into the real world. And we could see that in the way they played. They didn't take us seriously at all.
And by the time they realized what was going on, probably too late, right?
Yeah, their coach actually took out most of their starters in the 4th set, which was really awesome for us because we had really established that we were a team that should be played with.
And that state championship run, you had the big games on Friday, then championship Saturday. What did you do after all that was over as a team? How did you kind of come together and kind of spend your time in celebration?
Well, afterwards, we all piled in the middle of the court, took lots of pictures, and then we actually, as soon as the game was over, we got back on the bus and talked a little bit. But I mean, it was very calm on the bus. I mean, we were all exhausted. Yeah, we were all exhausted because we played 13 sets in 2 days. So definitely.
When you got home that night, that Saturday evening, got home at a decent time. It was Halloween also as well. You do any celebration that night?
Well, actually, I went to watch Northwest play.
Oh, you went right back to some volleyball then, huh?
Yeah, okay. So I was volleyball all day. So I went to watch them play in states. They did really well. They took down a Catholic team. And then went home. I actually have a little brother who is 4. His name is Henry, and I took him trick-or-treating. Went out with him for a little bit.
That's good.
Yeah, it was.
Did you
good.
did you call people and let people know that you won the title when you got back in? Or people...
News got around pretty fast.
Yeah.
We have a.
We have kind of a.
We have a
system.
message. Yeah, we have a text message between our senior class. So like the word got around pretty fast. Yeah.
Got like a standard text, right? Almost like the standard emails, but like a blast, so to speak.
Yeah, and so a lot of people texted us, like telling us congratulations on the game. Even one of the seniors who graduated a few years ago texted me, wishing me congratulations.
You heard back from
for
them,
the game.
yeah. And they wish they could have been there too, probably.
I'm sure he wished he could have been there watching us
He could have
play.
been there, right? Gotcha. Greatest volleyball player to ever lived. Is there a volleyball player you look up to as like the greatest player ever that you learned from, or maybe you kind of looked at and studied their game and maybe took some of your game from them?
Carrie Walsh, definitely. Olympic gold medalist, like many gold medals. I watched her play. I watched her matches. She sees the court really well. She's not just a powerful player, but she's smart, and I think that's really important to a team. Like, we have a lot of girls who can just nail the ball, but I think most importantly is they're smart, and so they know where the shots are. And I think this is where beaches really come in to help. They can read the court, see where the holes are, and that's how we won.
Kind of set your own tempo for your game a little better too, right? As far as the tempo goes. The greatest coach ever.
Definitely Coach Bo. The first year, honestly, freshman year, I had no idea who he was. I was a little intimidated by him, but I have not only become a better volleyball player, but a better person because of him. He has been an excellent role model in my life, and somebody that I really greatly respect, even though he doesn't believe me. Because I argue with him a lot, and normally whatever he says, I can say something against it. But really somebody that I truly respect.
If you could go back and do it all over again, you do it the same way, even back to the 6th grade, change nothing along the way.
I would change nothing along the way.
Flip it ahead 25 years, where are you going to be then? 25 years from now.
Hopefully a parent and a wife and have a job, and I'm not exactly sure what yet.
You might get involved in medicine, exploratory surgery. You're going to do exploratory studies, maybe exploratory surgery.
Well, I actually have considered physical therapy as an avenue for work, but then also I love working with kids, so maybe education or maybe even coaching.
Any injuries along the way? Any breakdowns, or just you were pretty much steadfast, strong the whole way through?
Yeah, there was only one game that I sat out of was for some back pain. Well, I did sit out for another game, but that was because I got sent home from school that day because I wasn't wearing the right uniform in school.
School uniform, not game uniform. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
gotcha.
so I was sent home, so I couldn't play in that game. So that didn't rest well with Coach. But I haven't really had any injuries.
How do you make all this last and just soak it up and keep it going? It's so much fun what's going on now. How do you make this last for a while instead of saying it's gone, I'm on to something else?
I really think it's going to be kept alive because of the relationships that I've got to build, especially with the younger girls, like all the freshmen. I didn't know who they were at the beginning of the year, but now I see them in the hallway every day. I can talk to them. I want to hang out with them, and so we all have this common experience, and I think that's going to keep it alive.
You're kind of like the big sister now. It's like a family, right?
I would like to think so.
Good deal. Well, send your younger sister Cassie our way. Let's bring her in next. Cassie Thompson. Let's bring her in.